Most people do not set out to destroy their own lives, yet the road to ruin is paved with tiny, almost imperceptible steps. There is a brutal, unspoken truth about married women that many men fail to see. This truth is what makes them vulnerable, not because they are weak or immoral, but because human nature itself is wired for temptation. No one wakes up one day and says, "I think I'll betray everything I've built." The process begins in the smallest moments. The innocent conversations, lingering glances, the subtle quickening of her heart when she receives a text from someone who isn't her husband. In my reflection and study of human behavior through a Stoic lens, I have observed that this is what the slow erosion of boundaries looks like, one step at a time, one thought at a time, until one day she looks in the mirror and does not recognize the person staring back. Secret 1. The unspoken void. Why do some married women seek attention outside their marriage? In my experience with Stoic reflection, the strongest marriages are built on partnership. A great marriage is not merely a bond of love, it is a bond of shared responsibility and trust. Yet not all marriages remain as resilient as they begin. Some women, despite taking vows, find themselves drawn to attention beyond their marriage. Often this is not about physical attraction alone, it is deeply psychological. A common mistake is assuming these women are seeking an escape. Many are simply searching for something lost along the way. Humans are wired for connection. Women, in particular, have a deep need for emotional intimacy, not just physical presence. In the early stages of marriage, this intimacy is strong. Late-night conversations, stolen glances, and the intoxicating feeling of being fully seen. But over time, routine sets in. Deep conversations turn into logistical discussions about groceries and household chores. Passion gives way to duty. Worst of all, she begins to feel invisible. From Stoic reflection, I have learned that the silent killer of relationships is indifference. When a woman feels unnoticed, her mind begins to seek validation elsewhere, sometimes without her even realizing it. The subtle pull of novelty. People will do almost anything to avoid loneliness, even if it means losing themselves in the process. A simple compliment, a stranger's attention, a conversation where she feels truly listened to. These tiny interactions can feel like oxygen after years of emotional suffocation. Marriage brings predictability, responsibility, and stability. Yet the very stability that provides security can also dull excitement. In Stoic terms, human desire responds to novelty. It is the spark that awakens attention and curiosity. If a woman has been married for many years, where every day feels predictable, even the slightest new interaction can feel electrifying. This is not evidence that she no longer loves her husband or that she is morally flawed. It is evidence that human nature craves vitality, attention, and connection, emotions that routine and indifference can quietly extinguish. Closing reflection. From a Stoic perspective, understanding this human tendency is not about judgment, but awareness. Recognizing the subtle dynamics that pull individuals away from their commitments allows us to act with wisdom, foresight, and virtue. In marriage, indifference is far more dangerous than temptation itself. Consistent attention, emotional presence, and acknowledgement of one another's inner life are what safeguard love and prevent erosion of connection. He who governs himself, notices others, and honors the fragility of the human heart creates a partnership that endures. Understanding these truths allows men and women to act with virtue, uphold trust, and build relationships rooted not in fear or desire alone, but in mutual respect and mindful care. A woman may not betray her marriage out of malice or a desire to harm, but she may feel drawn to the thrill of being wanted. We are most alive when we feel desired, when we experience love. Yet love is not merely about being together. It is about being chosen again and again. In my reflections with Stoicism, I have observed that when a woman feels pursued, when she senses that she holds power over another's desire, it reconnects her with a version of herself she may have thought lost, the younger, confident self, the version that felt effortlessly attractive and vibrant. Even if she never intends to cross any boundaries, she may find herself walking closer to them because in those fleeting moments, she feels alive again. Another overlooked factor is the loss of social identity. Many women, after marriage, start to feel like they no longer exist as independent individuals. They become someone's wife, someone's mother, someone's caretaker. Their identity shifts from who I am to who I am to others. Before marriage, she was a mystery. an individual with dreams, interests, and passions. After marriage, she becomes defined by her roles: wife, mother, supporter, the one who holds everything together. While these roles are beautiful, they can also feel restrictive. If a woman no longer feels like her own person, she may start seeking interactions that affirm her individuality. Sometimes these interactions come in the form of attention from another man. The justification game. In my study of human nature, I have learned that the mind always seeks to justify what the heart has already decided. No one wakes up and says, "I think I'll betray my marriage today." The process is gradual, a slippery slope that begins emotionally, long before it manifests physically. At first, everything feels innocent. It's just a little attention. What's the harm? I'm just talking to him. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not like I'm cheating. I'm just enjoying the moment. The human mind, in Stoic observation, is remarkably adept at self-deception. If something feels pleasurable but conflicts with our moral values, the mind invents rationalizations to bridge the gap. This tension, where actions contradict beliefs, is inevitable. And when the burden of guilt becomes unbearable, the mind bends reality to relieve itself. A woman who was once completely loyal may begin to play mental games. She downplays her actions. It's just flirting. I wouldn't actually do anything. She shifts blame. If my husband paid more attention, I wouldn't need this. She compartmentalizes. This has nothing to do with my marriage. This is separate. Yet, the more she justifies, the further she may proceed. Often, the first betrayal is not physical. It is emotional. Emotional affairs are dangerous because the lines are blurry. Late-night texts, conversations that delve too deeply, sharing personal struggles with another man instead of her husband. These initially seem harmless. She convinces herself that emotional sharing is safe, but emotional intimacy is powerful. Once she shares her mind, thoughts, and emotions with another man, she has already begun to detach from her husband. Cheating is not always physical. The moment one begins keeping secrets from their partner, the line has already been crossed. When emotions run deep, physical boundaries may follow. The "I deserve this" justification. The most dangerous rationalization is the one where she convinces herself, "I deserve this." In Stoic reflection, this is where human reason has been hijacked by desire. When judgment is clouded by emotion, moral clarity is lost, and the mind creates narratives that absolve it of responsibility. Understanding these subtle dynamics is not about judgment, it is about awareness. Human beings are drawn to novelty, validation, and connection. The wise person observes these tendencies, recognizes the risks, and acts with virtue and self-discipline. By noticing how small rationalizations accumulate, we can prevent a slow erosion of character and relationships. Stoicism teaches that vigilance over one's desires, clarity in judgment, and a disciplined approach to human connection are essential to maintaining integrity and a flourishing life. At this stage, the "I deserve this" mindset takes hold. A woman no longer questions her actions. In her mind, they are justified. She sacrificed so much for this marriage. I deserve to feel good again. He's ignored me for years. If he doesn't care, why should I? She's been faithful for so long, and it's gotten her nowhere. What's the point? This is the point of no return. At this stage, the emotional connection she has formed with another man may feel more real than the marriage itself. Her mind convinces her that stepping over the line is not betrayal, it is justice. In my reflections with Stoicism, I have observed that once a person believes something is justified, nothing can stop them. This is not about weakness or immorality. It is about the human brain being wired to rationalize what feels pleasurable. It begins with tiny excuses, small justifications. If left unchecked, these justifications transform into actions. Once the line is crossed, there is no turning back. The breaking point. Every story has a point of no return, a moment where there is no more just talking, no more innocent flirting, no more rationalizing. The game becomes real. The frightening reality is that most women do not realize when this moment occurs until it is too late. In my observations of human behavior, there is a concept I reflect on often: the threshold of action. People who once swore they would never act in a certain way eventually do, because the first act is the hardest. The first time she sends a message she knows she shouldn't. The first time she meets him, just as friends. The first time she allows her hand to linger a little too long without pulling away. That first moment shifts everything. After the first time, the second time is easier. What we do repeatedly becomes habitual. In Stoic terms, repeated action molds character, and before she knows it, what once felt forbidden begins to feel normal. The illusion of control. Here lies the biggest deception she tells herself. I can stop whenever I want. In reality, once something triggers a strong emotional response, it can feel addictive. In my reflections, I have noticed that romantic and sexual attraction activate the same internal pathways as addictive behaviors. The dopamine rush of a new connection is intoxicating, like a reward she did not realize she was craving. Even if she tells herself, "This is the last time," her mind finds a reason to return. At this point, it is no longer about the other man. It is about the feeling she experiences in his presence. The first lies. At first, lying feels unnatural. The first time she hides a message, the first time she fabricates an excuse, the first time her heart races when her husband asks, "Who are you texting?" All of these are signs that the line has already been crossed internally. In my experience with Stoicism, I have learned that self-deception and rationalizations are the mind's way of shielding itself from discomfort. But awareness and discipline are what prevent small rationalizations from evolving into destructive patterns. It feels wrong, but the human mind is terrifyingly adaptable. After a while, the guilt transforms into strategy. She becomes skilled at covering her tracks. She compartmentalizes so well that the guilt fades entirely. At this stage, she starts believing her own lies. This is where the spiral begins. The longer the secret exists, the harder it is to escape. She might tell herself, "I'll end it next week, next month, soon." But weeks turn into months. By the time she realizes she is trapped in her own web, it is often too late. Here is the final shift that happens in a woman's mind when she has gone too far. She stops seeing her marriage as her primary relationship. Her husband becomes secondary, the other man. The real connection, the real passion, the real intimacy, all of that now exists elsewhere. At this stage, even if she hasn't physically crossed the line, her heart already belongs to someone else. When that happens, there are only two possible endings. She gets caught, or she eventually walks away from her marriage, unable to maintain a double life any longer. So why are some married women the easiest prey? It is not because they are seeking to cheat, it is because they are seeking to feel something they have lost. Once they find that feeling, walking away from it feels impossible. Not because they don't love their husbands, but because they have convinced themselves that what they have found is something they will never get back at home. Once that belief settles in, nothing will ever be the same again. In my experience with Stoicism, understanding this truth gives you power. Power to see what others miss. Power to read between the lines. Power to recognize silent signals before they become irreversible. With this knowledge, you will no longer be blind to the dynamics at play. Awareness, reflection, and disciplined observation allow you to navigate relationships with clarity and understanding. This is a Stoic guide. Until next time, take care, and I will see you in the next video.